Following the tremendous miracle of Kriyas Yamsuf, the water has been split, the Jewish people have been saved, the Egyptians have drowned. Everybody breaks out in song. And the Torah first tells us the song that perhaps is most clear and famous to us and well known from our davening every single day, Oz Yashir Moshe V'nei Yisrael. A beautiful song of the salvation that Hashem brought for the Jewish people. But immediately right afterwards, the Torah tells us that it wasn't just the men who broke out in song. Matikach Miriam Haneviyah, Achos Aharon Hatov Biyada. And Miriam, the sister of Aaron, took the drum in her hands. Vatetzena kol hanashim achareha. And all of the women came after her. Besupim u'b'mecholos. And they came out with the musical instruments. Vatan lahem Miriam. And Miriam led them in song. Shiru Lashem ki goga sus v'achor ramavayam. Again, similar themes to the songs of Moshe Rabbeinu. It's a beautiful expression that they all felt so deeply at that moment of the salvation of the Yeshua and the thanksgiving that's necessary to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. But a very interesting diuk. There's a nuance that one can notice in the pasuk. It says that Miriam Achos Aaron took es ha-tof biyada, the drum, with the hey hayediyah, the defining hey. What is that referring to? It would have been sufficient had the Torah written that Miriam took tof biyada. She grabbed any old drum. What is ha-tof? What does it mean that it was the drum? What drum are we referring to? It sounds like it's some sort of specific drum. The Mechilta comments, from where did the Jewish people have these musical instruments in the Midbar? Those who really, the righteous ones, those who really had strong emunah on Hashem, they realized that we're going to somehow, the same way we saw the Makos in Egypt, we're going to experience more miracles. So we need to bring along the musical instruments that are going to be part of our salvation and our thanks to HaKadosh Baruch Hu. And it's along that vein that I once saw a beautiful idea, a suggestion, derech hadrush, but a suggestion, what this tof, what this drum is all about. Miriam Haneviyah, when she was just a little girl, the Gemara tells us, had a major part in the story. Because she had a father, Amram, who was from the Gedolei Hador, he was from the leaders of the generation. And after the Gezerah of Paro, that Paro said that Kol habein hayilod hayorot hashichu, that any boy that's born has to be thrown into the Nile, he's separated from his wife. And Miriam realized and said to him, Abba, your Gezerah is worse than Paro, because Paro only decreed on the Zecharim, on the males, and because you have separated from your wife, there won't be any males or females. And everybody had followed Amram's lead. And Miriam realized that for the future of Klal Yisrael, Amram needs to demonstrate that there's going to be a future. And it's going to be difficult, and I don't know exactly how it's going to work out, but we can't stop here. And her father listened to her and took back his wife, took back Yocheved, and everybody else followed suit. And that was a tremendous joy and tremendous celebration. And presumably, they broke out in song and dance and had those drums. And those are perhaps the drums that the Medrash is referring to. That the tzaddikim understood that there is, and Miriam, one of the greatest, she understood that there is going to be a Yeshua, and we need to prepare for it. And she held on to that drum and the other drums. And now she broke it out when finally that was realized. This was the moment when Miriam was able to see how all of the dots connected. How what she decided needed to be done then for the future of Klal Yisrael finally realized itself with Kriyas Yamsuf, with the redemption being complete. It speaks to the greatness of Miriam, but it also reminds us that sometimes we have moments of clarity. We don't always have moments of clarity. We have emunah, we have faith, and there are sometimes bumps in the road, and we don't understand the ways of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, and we move on, and we try, and we maintain our faith. But there are times when we get a glimpse, and we see the Yad Hashem, and we could connect the dots, and we could see, well, something that we didn't understand so long ago, how it makes sense now. And when Miriam reminds us, and perhaps is the message here, is that those are the moments that we have to hold on to. And we have to use them as chizuk. We have to use them to strengthen ourselves and to realize that HaKadosh Baruch Hu, God, is always there. And even when we don't see it, we take those moments of clarity and we tuck them away. We hold on to that drum and we make sure that hopefully that moment will come and we'll be able to celebrate. But we know that our faith in HaKadosh Baruch Hu is such that He's guiding us along the way. But when we have those moments, we have to grab onto them. And hopefully those are the moments that will get us through the more difficult times and bring us to times of greater light. And ultimately, just like they experienced Geula, and the men and the women, everybody else was able to thank HaKadosh Baruch Hu, we should experience similar Geula. B'mheira v'yameinu. Amen.